Okay, what the actual fuck happened here? How is a Twitch healing his allies while dealing a solid amount of damage? Well, let's rewind a bit. Twitch is a champion well known as an AD carry that appears out of nothing and demolish you in a matter of seconds. But since he is forced to farm as a bot laner, it gets a bit harder to abuse the invisible strategy and catch the enemy off guard. That's why you should start playing him on a support role where you can hide inside of bushes and drop farm and surprise the enemy with some annoying poke. Twitch can even go for a visit on the mid lane and get some free kills, since his Q allows him to walk over wards without getting spotted, and by building a P, his E damage gets ridiculous. But there is one item that allows Twitch to convert the damage dealt towards the enemy into some healing for his allies. Here are the build and runes, and now I will show you how to annoy the enemies with Twitch support. But before we speak about the healing item, let's talk about Twitch support in a chronological order. At level 1 you are going to skill your W spell, which is a bomb you can throw on the enemy, and it creates a circle for 3 seconds that applies poison stacks on your opponent when they decide to stay inside the area. Well, maybe we have to talk about Twitch passive first. That means, welcome to another episode of CVK Explains Something, and here is your host, CVK. Today, how does Twitch passive even work? Every auto attack dealt by this rat applies a stack on an enemy, which can be stacked up to 5 and last for 6 seconds.
Here's something that won't wash off!
So more stacks equals more damage. So sometimes you even get assists several seconds later thanks to this poison effect. And these stacks can also be applied by the W spell. The best strategy would be hiding inside a bush, throw a poison bomb on your opponent and try to auto-attack them as much as possible to apply as many stacks as you can. Here is where the rune Hail of Blades fulfill its function. When it's up, the speed of your 3 next auto-attacks increases, which makes it easier to stack up the poison. But be careful when and how exactly you want to trade due to the weak early game of this champ. Anyway, when you look at the item slot of this champ, you will realize that I bought Spellthief's Edge as the first support item. Now you might think that this won't be easy to proc, since Twitch auto attack range isn't large compared with other AD carries, and his W spell can't activate it, nor does he has an ability with a great range. Wait a minute. In fact, he unlocks a spell that can solve this problem. His E spell Contaminate. When the enemy is affected by at least 1 poison stack, Twitch can deal some solid damage by just pressing the E spell when the opponent is inside this area. That's quite simple, and an easy way to activate the support item in order to get 20 gold. Oh, and the damage obviously increases when Twitch managed to apply more stacks on his laning opponent. So the trading pattern at level 2 looks like this. Throw the W spell. Deal damage with your increased auto attack speed thanks to Hail of Blades in order to increase the poison stacks on the enemy. And last but not least, activate the E spell, which is the main damage source of a P-Twitch. But this trading pattern gets even more efficient at level 3, where this rat unlocks his Q spell that turns him into an annoying piece of shit champion he is. Is he on the lane or not? You never know. Until you hear the voice line,
I was hiding!
And you know, you fucked up. The Q spell allows Twitch to go invisible for 10 seconds, or camouflage to be precise, since enemies inside this circle can spot him. And control wards can spot Twitch as well. What makes this ability even more annoying is the 5-second 40% auto attack speed he gets when he reveals himself, applying the stacks even faster, resulting into more damage when the rat presses. Unfortunately, the damage won't be enough to one-shot some champions, which means that this combo can only be used to poke the enemy down. The great thing is that most of them will stay on the lane anyway and have to respect Twitch support, or they just forget that the rat exists and die, which is the most common outcome. They are literally forced to set control wards on the lane, since normal wards can't spot you, and 10 seconds is more than enough to cover a great distance undetected due to the additional movement speed Twitch gets when he go invis. This also makes it easier to go for some roams on the mid lane. Players love it when they get ganked by the jungler and the enemy supporter. Trust me, they really like it. But this action is more like Plan B, when you know that you can't achieve anything on the lane. Even though Twitch isn't the strongest champion during the early stage of the game, you still can't underestimate his damage. It's common knowledge to focus the AD carry during a fight, but the point is, while you are focusing the carry, Twitch can easily stack up his passive and delete his opponents by just pressing E, together with the summoner spell Exhaust, which should be your go to sum. Together with Flash, you can deny the all-in potential and buy more time for him to stack up the poison. So the main rule is to be the engaging one as Twitch support. When you get engaged instead, you are going to be dead for sure, since Twitch don't have any disengage tools. Anyway, from now on it's time to hit level 6 as fast as possible and rush the first item that grants Twitch with some healing. This is really important since this is his first power spike on the lane. The item is called Moonstone, and it's a great sustained tool on the lane due to the fact that it heals your ally during a combat. Every time you deal some damage it grants your AD carry 60 HP, which is especially useful during a all-in since the enemy don't expect your carry to survive that long. Meanwhile, you deal some solid damage and it's very likely you are going to win this fight. But the broken part about the item is the combination with Twtich passive. Since the poison lasts about 6 seconds on the enemy, you can be sure that the healing effect continues as long as your laning opponent gets damaged by it. So you can heal your carry by just throwing a W bomb and the poison effect and Moonstone will do their work. This allows you to pull out a special tactic called bait, where you trick the enemy laner into thinking that your AD carry is trying to fight him all on his own, but in reality you are standing next to them observing the fight waiting for the right time to intervene. That's the annoying part about the invisibility. You have to respect Twtich all the time, especially when you are low on HP.
I was hiding!
The all-in potential rises with Twtich hitting level 6. The ultimate can be explained quite easily. Twtich auto attacks gain more range and damage for the next 6 seconds, which leads to the fact that the passive stacks can be applied on the enemy even faster. So the basic combo looks like this. Go invisible. Throw your W spell, which has the ability to slow the enemy, and activate your ultimate to apply the passive stacks on the enemy. And when they reached 5 stacks, you just press E in order to get rid of them. Easy as that. Most of the time this is enough to vanish the enemy AD carry. But in order to maximize this damage output you need to survive as long as possible, so stay behind some kind of tanks or send your AD carry into the front line. I mean, she can save her own ass. Anyway, the healing of the Moonstone is great and all, but you still need to deal some damage in order to be useful as a Twtich. That's why your second item should be Masher's Tooth. This item hits you with 100 AP and the more important part, 50% more attack speed. That basically means you can apply the passive stacks even faster, which results into more damage and more healing for your allied champion. Since you are building a P and the fact that it's Twtich main damage spell, it shouldn't surprise anyone that we are going to max out the E spell first. By just putting 5 skill points into it, we are going to increase the damage output of this ability by 200%. By just pressing a single button. The second spell is going to be the W spell, which might be a little bit weird since we are waiving on additional attack speed from the stealth ability. The reason for this is the different playstyle is healing Twtich support. Since you don't have the same access to AP items as a D carry Twtich, due to the small amount of gold, you won't be able to burst enemies down as you are used to. Your main function is to heal your allies, which can be easily done by throwing a W bomb on the enemy. It deals some damage and activate Moonstone over the next 6 seconds thanks to the poison damage. Easy and free healing. By maxing it out, you reduce its cooldown so you can use it more frequently, and the slow increases by 20%, which forces them to stay longer inside the circle and apply more stacks, resulting into more healing through Moonstone. Last but not least, skill the Q spell because you don't have any other options. As already mentioned, Twtich late game task is not just to deal a lot of damage but heal his allies. That's why your main objective should be to survive as long as possible and dealing the most amount of damage. That's why your third item is going to be Staff of Flowing Water in order to increase your heal and shielding power, and additionally to that you also gain some AP damage. After that you are going to buy Chemtech Putrefier, which reduces the healing of your enemies when heal or shield your ally on the same instance, which is the case with Moonstone. Or when your team needs straight up damage, just buy Death Cap. When you can afford it, of course. Last but not least, get that juicy Banshees, which grants you with a spell shield, preventing you from getting hooked into the enemy team or a huge amount of damage. But when you are looking for a champion that can roam around a lot, grant his allies with an additional amount of gold, can't be ganked and can clear waves thanks to this item, you should start playing Pyke on the mid lane.